9 minutes past 9 o'clock, the 23rd day of March 2024. Welcome aboard the Big Seat on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music, great friends. Good morning. My name is Wesige Banyaji. We are online and on air, and you can be able to tune in from wherever you are across the world. If it is in, we always quote now, the Gaza Strip. I hope the bombs will kind of reduce for now, and all the other places across the world. Welcome to the Big Set. Listen in on www.cruisefm.com/stream. But also, if at all you want to catch the visuals, it is Crooze TV on YouTube and TikTok. Just type in Crooze TV. You'll be able to follow through all the way up to 11 o'clock later on in the show, so that you have an opportunity to join the conversation on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. So let me give you a rewind of the week before we get into the topic of discussion that I've already posted on our social media handles. 912 Crooze FM on X and 91.2 Crooze FM on Facebook and Instagram. For Crooze TV, it's very clear. TikTok and YouTube, you get to just enjoy television there. Courtesy of Creative Digital Media for the television. Now, President Museveni appoints General Muhoozi and Fassan as Chief of Defense Forces, replacing General Wilson Mbasumbadi, who was appointed State Minister for Trade. President Museveni also reshuffled cabinet, appointing Mr. Balambar Gahara, State Minister for Gender, Youth and Children, and other members of the Patriotic League of Uganda. Lydia Naber, Minister of State for Relief, Disaster Preparedness and Refugees there. President Museveni dropped Goreti Chitutu as Minister for Karamojo and her counterpart, Honorable Agnes Nandutu, as State Minister for Karamojo there. After the Mabati saga, they lost their positions in cabinet. He also appointed Dr. Kenneth Omona as a new state minister for Northern Uganda, getting to be replaced by Osio Amaswa as a principal private secretary to the president. Now, nearly half of the National Unity Platform party membership in parliament were absent at a caucus meeting convened to discuss the state of House Commissioner Matthias Mpuga. And we saw the deputy spokesperson of the party trying to make the numbers 38 turned up, 17 had apologies, and the other number that didn't have apologies. And it was hitting over the number that the members have in parliament. So we don't know what the real actual number of members of parliament that turned up for that caucus meeting. The Uganda People's Congress candidate in the Dokolo District Woman Member of Parliament race was declared the winner in the hotly contested election with 34,404 votes there. We congratulate the UPC and the candidate for winning that election. Now, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, brazed dust after claiming that he was shocked by Parliament when it deposited on his account per diem of 5 days instead of 1 when he traveled to Nairobi to check on the ailing Kawempe North Member of Parliament, Muhammad Segirinya. And General Muhoozi, the new CDF and chairman of the Patriotic League of Uganda, made his maiden tour of the Greater Masaka sub-region to spread his message of patriotism. To help me discuss the state of LPLU vis-a-vis NRM, NUP, and what it means to appoint members of that civil society group into cabinet and taking up the slot as Chief of Defense Forces by their chairperson. After President Museveni had ceded power to the CDF, is Musa Tukwatanase, who is a very ardent mobilizer of PLU in Greater Western Uganda. He was very active in the activities in Masaka, so we have the right person to talk about them this morning. Peter Mpaka, National Unity Platform. Henry Nwambanya, he's a lawyer and advocate. And Council Bwenje Deuslidi, who is a panelist and regular Big Setter. Good morning, Musa Tukwatanese, and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, my brother Banyaji, and good morning, our comrades here in the studio, and good morning to our dear listeners. As usual, Musa Tukwatanese, the political antidote, and a member of PLU. I am happy to be hosted here today, and the fact that it is not the topic of discussion, allow me first of all congratulate our colleagues, most especially the Chief of Defense Forces appointed, General Muhoozi, who double as the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations and the Chairperson of the Patriotic League of Uganda. I congratulate you, sir, upon the appointment, and we as Ugandans, we believe in your capabilities. We know you are going to serve us to your best. And I also congratulate our comrades, Honorable Lilian Abba, the PRU coordinator for Northern Region, and the PRU coordinator for Western Region, Mr. Bargahara Baram, for being appointed as ministers. We believe it is the right timing that PRU members are being brought on board to eliminate the bad characters of corruption and impunity that had started eating up our systems. And I thank our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, for making right choices of the appointments and for eliminating the Mabati saga thieves and ensuring that Uganda is
you're into the topic of discussion. Welcome, Musa. Yes.
I want to ask him. He says that he's a member of the PLU.
But these are opening remarks.
Yes,
are you going to debate these opening remarks?
For each statement.
Good morning, Council Bwenje Dos did it.
I'm fine. So I want to start off by asking him that see the PLU has only 8 members. The rest
Speak directly to the microphone.
The rest are supporters, because it is only those 8 members who are registered as the founding members of that institution, who appear on the constituent documents of the same, who are called members. The rest are supporters, because there has not been any issuance of membership cards for the PLU.
Good morning, Bwenje, and welcome to the big seat. Henry Nwamanya, good morning and welcome to the big set.
Well, good morning, Mr. Banyaji. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I also welcome the fellow panelists on the studio. Something caught my eye, Mr. Banyaji, last week. Someone casually walked with 118 million in a vehicle to the washing bay, and the money was allegedly stolen by the boys who washed the vehicle. But again, what shocked me is that the next morning, the man, it was business as usual. I wonder how many people would have such money in the vehicle and it's stolen. And
you wanted him to be admitted in hospital because he lost money?
Of course.
Or pronounced dead?
Of course.
This is a member of parliament. This is not...
It brings out the other idea.
Yes.
The other idea of Peter Mpaka, that people he thinks he's dealing with are also eating. Of course, he's a man who has money, who has his businesses, but it's a shocker that such little money, according to him, cannot make him weak the way we expected.
But cannot. He must be see, he's as an MP expected to be public spirited. He must have a thick skin. So if you are going to forfeit your roles as an MP because of your personal issues, then there's something wrong with you. So we expect him to recover from the shock and perform his functions as an MP, no matter how much money.
Welcome, Henry Nwamanya.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Peter Mpaka, good morning and welcome to the big set.
SJ, thank you so much, and thanks to our dear listeners and the management of Crooze FM for always allowing us to come and discuss issues of national importance. For me, what caught my eye is the issue of climate change. We all know that around this time in March, we should be having some good rains in our country, in this region, but we are currently experiencing a serious heat wave. I want to advocate for conservation of wetlands, protection of trees, because as we can see, the whole climate is changing and changing for the worse. I saw a news where a dog ate up a kid in a home, and the people who analyzed that were attributing it to the too much heat that is around us. I even saw some doctors advising women who are not pregnant as of now, to halt a bit, to wait a bit. So please, if you're a big sitter and you're in a relationship, please kind of put some more goalkeepers to protect that specific place. And those who are already pregnant, please carry a lot of water. You've seen schools in South Sudan closing, so as you come to town, as you leave home, pack for your child some extra bottle of water. Even in schools, we encourage you, cook up or boil up some water, and let us have enough nourishment to fight against this climate change.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Peter Mpaka, and welcome to the big seat. Welcome, gentlemen, and all the listeners out there that are catching the show. You'll be able to be a part of the show when you call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. We kicking it up a little bit. When we come back, we shall be getting into our topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Show me awesome. And I'll show you 91.2 Crooze FM.
Great friends.
We are back. It's 20 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Good music. Good friends. My name is Westige Banyaji, and I welcome you to the big set. And I see a couple of people that are ready. My friend Derek, you're listening to the big set from Lugazi. I want to appreciate you very much. And there's so many big sitters out there. Don't forget that if you're out of frequency here in Western Uganda, you can still log in on www.cruisefm.com/stream. And Crooze TV is very clear. It does seamlessly like that. And you can get to listen and watch everything that is happening here on Plot 12, Moti Lane, Mbara City, the land of milk and honey. With me in studio is Council Bwenje Deus Didit, who is a lawyer, Council Henry Nwamanya, lawyer, Mr. Peter Mpaka, who is a big sitter here, and he belongs to the National Interplatform, and Musa Tukwatanase, who is a member of the Patriotic League of Uganda. And I want to let you know that that topic of discussion is on our social media handles. On X, we are 912 Crooze FM, and on Facebook, 91.2 Crooze FM. Crooze TV on YouTube and TikTok. And I will get to exactly the person that is wearing the Patriotic League of Uganda. Welcome from Masaka. And I should also note that I come from Masaka in a way. And I grew up there, and I know what the aspirations of the people in Greater Masaka have, and it's a good place. What do you bring for us from Masaka Musa Tukwatanese, and what did we miss there?
Thank you so much, my brother Banyaji, and to our dear listeners. First of all, I want to congratulate our people of Masaka, Greater Masaka, for welcoming their leader and for accepting to be part of the patriots advocating for what is wrong to be put right, and for advocating for what is right to be sustained. I want to thank the people of Masaka and Greater Masaka as a whole for the patriotic heart they showed on 15th of March when the Patriotic League of Uganda had a visit, a baraza that was chaired, or where the chief guest was the chairman of the Patriotic League of Uganda, General Muhoozi Nergaba. It was indeed a successful function, and all of us enjoyed. And really, one of the things I noted from Greater Masaka are the things I will begin with. Number one, I want to thank the people of Greater Masaka that they don't have opposition. In Greater Masaka, we realized that there is no opposition of NUP and Bobo Wine. And why am I saying this? I am quoting from what exactly they told us. Number one is that Greater Masaka has been a place supporting the revolution and the agenda of the revolution with Mzee Museveni. However, NRM as a party has some members, and those members have always practiced impunity on members of Greater Masaka by stealing their land, by practicing corruption. Money for providing services come, and it does not reach the people of Greater Masaka. And that's why recently when Chaguranyi came on board with his NUP, he was able to sweep a good number of Greater Masaka people. People were responding not to the ideology of NUP, but they were responding because they were desperate. This is a scenario where you have a wife at home and you are a husband, you are harassing the wife. So this wife can go with even a mad person. I am giving the analysis we saw in Masaka. So please allow me.
Don't be distracted by Council Bwenje.
Exactly.
Go to the matter.
Thank you so much.
And we also wish to know what was the real reason as to why you were in Masaka.
And
no,
please.
Why were you in Masaka?
One of the reasons why in Masaka is because we wanted to know. We were interested in knowing the exact challenges our people of Masaka are facing, and where government has not performed, and where we think government can do better, and also spreading the ideology of the Patriotic League of Uganda. And that's the major reason why we are in Masaka. The Baraza, if you get to know the meaning of the Baraza simply means sitting with people, you get to know their challenges, you get to know where they are doing well, and you advise accordingly for the development of their region and the country at large.
Okay,
and that's what exactly we did. And that's why
Is it only coincidental that you went to Masaka when the NUP that literally has the biggest base in Masaka, has its biggest base in Masaka, was grappling with couple of issues with its leadership?
I want to note that we never went to Masaka to compete with the NUP, or we never went to Masaka because of NUP or NRM, because the Baraza we had in Masaka is not the first Baraza. We have gone to Sebei, it's on record. We have gone to Soroti, it's on record. We have gone to Chigezi, it's on record. Now we have gone to Greater Masaka. Actually, It was not the first Baraza. So, NUP or NRM or any other political party should not think at any one point that PLU visit to Masaka was to compete with them. Because after all, we are not political, we are non-partisan, we are non-sectarian, we are non-denominational.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kwatan. So let me bring in Henry Mwamanya here.
To ask him, you see, the late Lucky Dube sang a song to the effect that it ain't easy. And therein he said he never knew the true colors of the wife he had married. Now the former speaker here is trying to communicate to us the true colors of the PLU. Because you see, he mentions that there is no opposition in Masaka. Now we all know that the PLU is non-partisan. Because if you read paragraph 7, I think that's the last paragraph of its, I think it's paragraph 5 of its proclamation, it says that it is non-partisan. Okay? Non-partisan. And so when your intention of going to Masaka is to ascertain if the opposition is there or not, okay, and not to focus on whether services exist or not. It means that your intentions are partisan, and your principles are anti-opposition. They are pro-government. So now that shows us that actually the PLU is not what it purports to be. It's actually an extension of the NRM. It's an appendage of the regime. It's even part and parcel of the dictatorship. So their rationale of existence, their blood, is to finish off the opposition, not to deliver services, not to teach people about patriotism, about the elimination of corruption, about the protection of the environment and vulnerable persons, as it is indicated in their constituency document. So when they are communicating to the people, they should make sure that they do not divert from the principles embedded in their proclamation document, because that is their guide. But when you come here and say that there's no opposition in Masaka, it means that you're actually working for the state.
Mr. Programmer, I want to guide the Council Wenje that all civil society organizations we know, they always come in to make research and make recommendations, both on government and on opposition.
But I think Musa Tukwata, Nese General Muhoozi, Kabanda, and all of you, I think don't take Ugandans for fools. I think what you can do is be clear and say, yes, we are not a political party. Yes, our agenda is this. But for you to speak to Ugandans and make it sound as if yours is not political and it is not about politics. Me, that's where I have the problem with. I have no problem with your mobilization and everything that you have to do in Masakan, whichever place. But for you to even come here and other spokespersons to make Ugandans seem as if the agenda is not political is taking us for granted.
Yes, Mr. Council Wenje, the agenda is not political. And I still insist on that, because that because why
Yes.
even when we were in Masaka,
Yes.
listen, when we were in Masaka,
I think for me,
the speech from
Musa, that's where you and your colleagues
They have failed to
lose
distinguish
it.
between these two things. You see,
why-
the de facto agenda of theirs is not the same as the jure agenda of theirs, which is embedded in the constituent document of theirs. What they are trying to do is to bypass the law without breaking it. And now that's actually confusing.
Let me get to Henry. Henry,
Yes, sir.
no sooner had General Muhoozi Kainerugaba set his foot away from Masaka, we had the president communicate to the nation that in a slight change of cabinet, he appoints very big names in the PLU as members of cabinet. But he didn't stop at that, but also appointed his son and the good general as the new chief of defense forces, CDF. Is it coincidental that no sooner had he left Masaka, which is majorly opposition, than he was appointed into the big position as CDF?
President Museveni is an expert in politics and civic education. This is not coincidental. It was duly planned. He knew and he knows what he's doing. And maybe to briefly hint on what Musa said, if it quacks and walks like a duck, it is a duck. Mr. Banyaji said PLU shouldn't take Ugandans for fools. These people are partisan and they have political ambitions. However, what the president did is what they call in chess a checkmate. He knew who to handle. He knew where to throw the pawns. He knew what to do exactly to make sure he weakens PLU. First of all, yes, PLU. First of all, their leader is now the CDF of the Uganda People's Defense Forces. If you're duly aware of the laws of Uganda, starting with the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, Article 208, Clause 2, an active member of the UPDF is not supposed or is barred by law to participate in any political issue or matter. And I'm sure Mr. Musa here should be aware of the UPDF Act, Cap 307 of 2005, where Section 11 automatically makes General Muhoozi a member of the High Command of UPDF, which means that he cannot in any way participate in politics. He cannot in any way carry out rallies, and that in line with Section 27 of the UPDF Act that talks about subversion. And he should be aware that in case General Muhoozi seeks for cheap popularity, he will be barred by military law to proceed on that forum. Therefore, where does this leave PLU?
Can I give some guidance? Yes. Allow me give some guidance. First of all, even all activities we have finished and we continue to do are not political. That's why the General Muhoozi Kainerugaba heads a civic organization, not a political party. So when even first listen. Yes. When even because I don't want people to see him tomorrow moving on PLO activity and say how is the CDF moving. I want people to be guided well that General Muhoozi Kainerugaba heads a civil organization that is non-partisan, non-denominational, and non-sectarian. And on that very note, don't get surprised that tomorrow when we have any function as PROU, we are going to invite the CDF, who is non-partisan, to come and bless the function.
One of the rules of conmen, there was a conman in France called Victor Lastug. He listed 10 rules of conmen. One of them is that wait for the other party to reveal their political affiliation, then you agree with them. What Musa is doing is just moving with the movement of General Muhoozi, but he doesn't know the weight it carries. I think no one outside there can be fooled that General Muhoozi is not being political, and that we leave it at that. That said and done.
Okay, maybe some point of information.
Yes.
You see, I think the PLU has some smart lawyers. The proclamation document of the PLU, paragraph 7, states as follows: we commit to ensure that the Patriotic League of Uganda's efforts towards reviving patriotism will remain non-partisan, non-denominational, and non-sectarian. Now, there is no law which forbids a serving military officer from being a member of a civic organization.
Thank you so much.
Not even the Non-Governmental Organizations Act, not even the Political Parties and Organizations Act. So I think you can say there's a lacuna there, because also there's no law which forbids a serving army officer or from being a founding member of a company, whether it's a company limited by shares. And I think what they are trying to do is to hide behind that kind of veil of teaching people how to be patriotic, how to love their country, how to protect the environment. And I think as long as the CDF remains true to that language, and he does not show any political ambitions.
But do you see it? What do you see realistically?
What we have to do is how the law is, not what the law should be.
Thank you so much.
So actually our fears should not try to come into our eyes to prevent us from seeing what the law is. So it is just like the difference between evasion and avoidance of taxes.
But
you can bypass the law without breaking it.
Oh, Kansoboinje. So I think you're creating a sideshow.
Yes.
No.
Who is disputing that a member of the military cannot be a member of a civic organization? That is not a matter of dispute. The matter of contention is, can an organization, a civic organization, go to a space and all they articulate is politics?
Yes.
For me, I think that's where the detour is. It's not about on the ground.
When you watch the speech of the CDF, he never alluded anything.
Don't elect corrupt.
Yes. The civic partisan statement.
Okay, let's allow Henry.
It is not just a partisan statement.
Even the chairperson of the electoral commission can make that same statement.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
Okay, Henry.
You see, these people should not full Ugandans out there, you know what is on ground. However, I'm happy that the president has made these changes. They're going to affect this sort of civic movement they've come up with. Of kudos
Henry,
Yes.
are you tending to mean that in President Museveni appointing Muhoozi Kainerugaba as CDF is to curtail his mobilization drive
Absolutely.
in the PLU?
Absolutely.
And so is the
Absolutely.
same
And you
for
can see that
Lillian Aber and Baram.
He picked out the right people. Usually, Baram was always with General Muhoozi. Lillian Abel was always with General Muhoozi. They are now ministers. You understand?
Point of information.
Yes.
But let me ask you, Henry.
Yes.
We've seen ministers on those mobilization drives. So will that stop Aber from going to Acholi
This is a tactical
sub-region?
move. This is a tactical move, and people are not understanding what the president is doing. That's why I told you in the beginning that President Museveni is a smart guy. This is a smart move, and he has a reason he made this. You just watch the space. This thing is going to fall down.
Okay. Peter Mpaka, get to the microphone. And the question is, I think whatever that has given PLU so much form is the NUP. Because in your own ground, where you have literally from councillor to members of parliament belonging to the National Unity Platform, and the chairperson of the PLU makes his maiden speech there. And before we know it, it looks like the president was simply saying, for what you've done in Masaka and dismantling the opposition and NUP in particular, you're the new CDF. And the ministers that were very active in making sure the message of patriotism is spread in that region are now ministers.
Thank you, West J. Now, before I get into the topic, allow me first appreciate creative media. Our dear listeners, I wish you could be able even to view all those online. I think you've already noticed that the production has changed. We are here and we are surrounded by so many cameras, and it's a big ups to creative media. Thank you so much. Now, West J, it is so heartbreaking when I see my land friends here. Of course, you know that I'm land. Plus Musa Tukwatanise, the only unland friend in the studio,
Yes.
saying that what was in Masaka.
Allow this ferret first to disown his statement.
But you're not a lawyer, so what is the problem?
I am land.
So,
Okay, to the matter.
so to say that what was in Masaka was not politics, and that PLU is not political. They may say they are not political in words, but in action and in acts, they are political and very political. Because you saw they went and claimed that they had taken over an office of the NUP, the headquarters of the NUP. So if you were there on civic, maybe you had gone there to fight HIV/AIDS or fight malaria, or you were there to teach people how to use condoms. What were you doing at the headquarters of NUP?
Information. Allow me give this piece of information.
Just
a piece of information.
No.
Yes,
really.
Musa.
Yes,
Musa.
allow me give me a piece of information.
Yes, yes, Musa.
Submitting.
No, allow Musa to give you this.
I want to give you a piece of information that what we are portraying and what we are doing.
What were you doing?
What we are doing at the office of NUP is to show you that indeed Patriotic League of Uganda is non-partisan.
Yes.
We are willing to go to NUP offices, NRM offices, UPC offices, FDC offices. So my brother, it is a clear indicator that when you are NUP, you can be part of the Patriotic League of Uganda. When we are NRM, likewise, because for us Patriotic League of Uganda, we are non-partisan. Thank you.
Let's allow him.
His answer is a travesty of justice. When a civic organization enters the offices of a registered political party and defaces the portraits of the president of that party, and then they purport to say that they are non-partisan, that is absolute foolery, and it should stop there.
Okay.
Yes. So
Attention everyone, the Ministry of Health has planned to vaccinate all persons Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We are back. It's a quarter to 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music. Good friends. Before we went for a break, it was Peter Ampaka helping us understand why the PLU was at the offices of the NUP. Yes, Peter.
And the gist of the PL is Fulale is the fact that even what they attacked and claimed was a NUP office was actually a saloon. That very room didn't have the colors of the NUP. The doors were of a different color. If you want to confirm, visit any other office of the NUP. We are clearly identified with our colors. And they fooled the country that this was the headquarters, yet the headquarters were clearly standing. Number two, I saw the members, already when you guided us that the PLE does not have members, but those who are well-wishers maybe. I saw them putting on jumpers, Muhoozi 2026. I saw them putting on T-shirts, Muhoozi, my next president. I saw them putting on capes like he's putting on with all these political undertones. So I want to tell Ugandans that do not accept to be fooled by President Museveni's junta and his son, because we have two generals in this country today who are walking in broad daylight, breaking the law adamantly and with impunity of the highest order. And actually, if they succeed in their plan, I think Ugandans of that time should stand and also walk and break the law during that day, because they are setting a precedence where, if we are not careful, our country is likely to turn into a lawless country. Wesley, I would want us to congratulate men like David Tinyafuza, who in 2013 came out and talked about the so-called Muhoozi project. And they endured sufferings and punishments, and some went into exile. I would want us to congratulate as Ugandans men like Henry Tumukunde, men like Chiza Besigye, men like John Patrick Amama Mbabazi, who the president said he had been dismissed from his post as prime minister of this country. One of the gallant prime ministers I think this country has had, but was chased, the president said, because of the lies that Amama Mbabazi was portraying about the so-called Muhoozi project. But as we talk today, this fulale that has been ongoing for so long is now here in broad daylight, and we have a panel member here who thinks he can continue to defeat us. I mean to lie us. Nyenda gambira bakatera nkonya banje ngo ebyo bintu mubirebe kandi mubitekatekeho. Because when you look at what was in Masaka and the disorganization that was in Masaka, I heard that the function had 8 MCs. You had Kabanda, David of Kasambia, the MP was an MC. You had the Baramu Bargahara was also an MC. You had Frank Gashumba was an MC. You had Tamale Mirundi was an MC. You had this minister of microfinance, Aruna Kasoro.
Some guidance, information.
But
it is propaganda.
Get a piece of paper and pen.
People were watching. This was there. You would have Aruna Kasoro calling, and Baram Bagara is also bringing people. Actually, one of the things that disappointed me that I saw that was worse There is a time when Aruna Kasoro was communicating and Barambar Gahara was bringing people, imposters, I think impersonators, whom he called NUP members, and he was bringing them, introducing them to the PLE's chairman.
Why do you keep referring to it as the PLE?
Because they haven't even done the primary. These are they need to do primary leaving examinations, so that we, even if you cannot even organize, and know that a function should have one MC or two MCs, so that there is order. If you cannot even organize the message, you're saying you're a civic.
But that's form. There is substance to even talk about. Why are you concentrating on the form?
Which form are you talking about?
You're concentrating on things
that
are inconsequential.
They are very. That's why we are voting. That's why Ugandans are voting, because they were given.
So if at all you're debating MCs,
yes,
and you're losing where the gist is, then what is the problem? MCs.
I'm talking about the message of the PLE in Masaka. I'm talking about a message that a person who says is going to be the next president is portraying to the people of Uganda. If you say you're a civic organization and you don't even know the agendas of a civic organization and you address those, are we Ugandans going to be fooled into this kind of foolery? So for me, I really hold in high esteem the men and women who told Ugandans as far as 2013 that there is a problem that is being groomed in Uganda, and Ugandans, you must be able to wake up and stand up and resist this. So I want to tell my party, the NUP, I want to tell the people of Uganda that we must stand and watch. Otherwise, the lawless group, a group of confused runners are coming to take over our country. People are breaking the law. People are breaking the law in broad daylight, are being cocooned through a kangaroo system, through a Kamoli system, and if we are not careful, we will have them leading us.
Yes, Councillor Wendy.
You see, when the leader, when a member of the biggest opposition party comes to studio and laments about this ongoing wave, I think he's forgetting that the NUP, as the leader, as the majority leader of the opposition, owes the people of Uganda a duty to put its house in order first.
Thank you so much.
But
Okay.
But I want to tell Bwenji.
Had the house of the NUP been in order, this wave of the PLU would not be so strong.
I have
some.
There are internal confusion.
Can
I have only Councillor Wendy speaking?
The internal confusion within the NUP has given the PLU a fertile stepping stone, okay, to sound as maybe a probable political force in our country. So if they do not want the PLU to rise up as a formidable force, they, as the leader of the opposition, must put their house in order.
Okay.
Otherwise, they cannot come and
Please
lament.
I really want to rebut
I have
on
a
that.
question to you.
You also ask.
I have a question to you.
Yes.
We have heard from Honorable Jime, we have heard from Honorable Kagabo, who are members of the National Inter Platform and are honorable members in the 11th Parliament, and you have always heard from them.
But Musa,
what do you comment about their speech?
But Musa, haven't you ever heard of a parent that disowns their own children? If the NUP has disowned Kagabo and Jimmy, why are you insisting them to be part of their membership?
We have.
No. Because
we have.
Are they still members?
They are not.
They are still members.
They are not. I am sure. NUP.
They are not.
You show us any document.
They are not.
Documents.
Expelling them from
They
the
are
party.
not.
Okay.
Now,
It is
I
not
want
there.
to answer.
No
I really
documents.
want to be on record on this. That the NUP is solid. The NUP is not giving leg ground to any other to PLU.
Okay.
The NUP is, we may have, you see, I have always said this, that when you have something that is alive, an organization that is alive, you expect people to disagree on some things. So
But
actually
now,
disagreement does not mean that we are dead.
Yes.
This kind of mind is our mind as Africans.
No.
When you see a wife and a husband disagreeing, for you the outsiders you think amakagafa
We are not saying.
no, we are not in a bad state. Actually, we are working internally
I'm
to
not
see
saying-
that
Thank
whatever
you.
I'm
seems
not
to
saying.
be. What are you saying, Wayne?
let's allow
I'm not
Wayne.
saying that it is illegal or bad for NUP to have internal contradictions. What I'm saying is that as a result of those internal contradictions, a third force is kind of rising up.
They're giving it
Yes,
No,
we
we
are
are
giving
not.
it
No, 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 no,
opportunity,
no,
Yes.
space.
As
No,
an
no, we
also
are not.
addressing
We are
those
not.
internal
No, 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 we are
contradictions.
not. I can tell you, we are addressing everything that you think is a contradiction within the NUP, and I have it on authority to say that.
No, you see, when you have a meeting, actually a NEC meeting of 50, actually out of 57.
No, it was a
MPs,
parliamentary caucus matter.
Yes, and only 35 of them come up. Okay,
But
And then 22 don't.
that's over 70% of the number.
Also, let me note
That's over
this.
70% of the
Mr.
number.
Banyaji, allow me note this.
No, let's allow council.
even if one MP never showed up without giving any reasons, that is reason enough that there is some internal discontent.
But
And
what
even one MP
what
matters.
is
One
so
MP
unnatural
matters.
about that, Council
One
Boyd?
MP matters.
No,
Okay,
my question
what
is, what is
not
unnatural
good?
for a person
Yeah.
not to turn up
No.
or to turn down an invitation?
Mr. Banyaji,
You see,
allow me make
NUP is
this.
a young party. These internal contradictions are not good for it at this stage.
I want to
Also, allow me note
It
this.
doesn't have the capacity to manage these
Council.
internal contradictions.
Yeah.
Allow me note this. That even NRM, UPC, DP, FDC have their internal challenges. But the worst of it all is that the National Unity Platform has failed to manage its internal challenges. That's why you see the president of the party coming out to expose the party, because if you have someone who you had entrusted as leader of opposition, now again as a commissioner,
Exactly, yes.
then you come again in public to say the man has been swindling money, that means the whole party is dead
And you tell him
has no agenda.
You see.
Let's meet up in the second hour of the show. Good morning.
It's tough. The Big Seat on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
Welcome back from that very short commercial break. We're right into the second hour of the show, 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Good music, good friends. Good morning once again. My name is Wesige Banyaji. With me in studio is Bwenje, Deus Didit, Henry Nwamanya, Peter Mpaka, and Musa Tukwatanase. You can be able to watch the show online on Crooze TV, that's for YouTube, but also be able to listen in from wherever you are on www.cruisefm.com/stream. About now, we get to the lifeline of the show, the telephone calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On Facebook, on what the appointments of Muhoozi Kainerugaba as CDF and certain members of the PLU into cabinet. What does this speak of the PLU? That's our question on our topic of discussion this morning. Matthias Major, on Facebook, you're saying another punch of fishes into the regime. I'm actually happy and pleased with the fountain of honor for those appointments because it inspires the young patriots and feel considerate. But not just seeing the popular notorious faces being appointed again and again in the name of we fought together. So let's credit and thank the president onto the NUP, on the NUP members slowly join the PLU as they highly welcome and let them get the honor. You in Kashaka, thank you, big contributor and a big seater, Matthias Major there. Chris Shaggy, I see you, you're in Nyakayozo, catching the show. Kakuru Innocent, like any other tyrant, Museveni is preparing his son to supplement him. Let this despotic regime stop. You're in Bwenda, Richard Ibanda. Tuliamsima Gordon, you're listening again from Nyavisira in Kashari, and you're saying I think the president is trying, well, it's not very clear, but I thank you. Gumesiris Omhinda Wycliffe, you're saying this means MK is being brought to the presidential seat indirectly. Thank you. Greenwood Shaggy, I see you. Paul Tumsime, you're saying, I think we should appreciate NUP for they have reached where they didn't expect. But for PLU, Muhoozi project cannot stand without nepotism. Congratulations to the president and having appointed those that he trusted. He's a fearless leader. On Crooze TV, I can see the messages are there and the people that are watching. Binom Shabana, you're watching from Boma here. Nwajela David, you're saying this means that anytime from now, General Muhoozi will be president. You're in Kazo. Thank you, Greenwood Shaggy. Once again, I see you. Rohangani class. You're in Bara. You're saying to Yamsima Gordon, I appreciate your present. Oh, well, thank you. Mwebaze Finance, you're watching the show all the way from Poland. Oran 256, Bimcha Anonymous. Thank you. Then Akatuyamba Matthias, thank you. Manirom Juni Clifford, you're welcoming me back from the Lord dinner. Yes, yesterday we had a very beautiful Lord dinner, and I was given the tools of power as the newly elected as the leader for the Law Society there.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Let's pick some of your calls right about now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big say.
Hello, Cruz.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the show.
Thank you so much for listening in.
So I wanted to tell that man of PRU that he shouldn't confuse listeners. That so he's saying that the PRU is not a patriotic move, but then they show the public that they are changing people of NUP into that organization. So do they mean that NUP is an evil group or is unpatriotic?
All right. I appreciate you. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Get in to call us and let's get to hear from you. Mahad bin Rahman bin Ramadan on X, you're saying you're listening in from Nyakize Kakoba, and you're saying Banyaji does not make any sense that each and every appointment should be from his family and friends. I mean the president, so my view is that if he does not want to change will change him. I see Paul Mchurezi, you're saying he wants him to take the chair. Collins UG, I see you. Keep the messages coming. Let me pick some of your calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Crooze FM, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Banyaji.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Banyaji.
Yes, how are you doing this morning?
You're talking to Mahim Sa'alan Bachineza.
Yes, Mahim.
Right there from Shema. You see, Mr. Banyaji, that PLO is trying to twist everything and trying to treat Ugandans as fools. But eventually fooling themselves. If they are really patriotic, as they claim, they would definitely use all that money they use for mobilization, fix potholes, find jobs for citizens, stock medicine, available health facilities, or even construct more. When you see the T-shirts written on Muhoozi, my next president, and then you try to compare the words of the confused PLO members, then it makes it easy for us to predict them. So for me, Mr. Banyaji, I don't have any problem with PLO.
Okay.
It actually registers itself as a political party and stops being controversial.
Okay.
I don't mind whichever political party takes on power as long as it offers service delivery to Ugandans. After all, it's what I strongly advocate for. I thank you.
All right, thank you for that call. The big set.
Good morning, West Honored.
Good morning. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Majega Monique Dixon from Tigarama Shema.
Yes, to the matter.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm seeing President 7 is trying.
Yes, we can hear.
He's trying to lead his son into his position. As the proverb says, if you don't go with 10 chances with you. I'm also a big sitter already.
Thank
Call
you.
upon me.
All right. The big set.
Good morning, Mr. Banyaji.
Yes, good morning.
How are you doing and you're sitting in the studios?
I am doing terrific. How are you doing this morning?
I'm okay. I'm calling from Kamwanga. I'm called Innocent. Indeed, I'm frustrated by the seventh government and the son. They are taking Uganda as if it is now their home. And that Patriot League of Uganda, me, I'm taking it to be a force power that is now coming into the NRM government, is now helping government to gain more strength in the areas where the opposition is becoming strong. Because if we talk about things like Masaka, that is the cradle land for the NUP. So they are trying to gather those areas so that they bring them back to the NRM. So it is now acting as a political move for the NRM. So I thank that person, Peter Mbaka, for the good contribution he has given. Thank you so much.
All right. Crooze FM, good morning. Just lost that call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big seat.
Yes, the big seat.
Yes, good morning.
Very good morning. Yeah, I will speak.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Jordan here representing the talking about the matter. Yeah, I see. I also, in addition to Majega Monique Dixon from Tigamasiamba, Mr. President Seven is also leading his son into his position. And also, I see the NUP is the same as PLU, the Pacific League of Uganda. Thank you.
All right. Let me come back to studio. Councillor Wenje, They've always complained about President Museveni not acting against corruption and, keeping members of cabinet, yet they've been alleged to have committed acts of corruption. This time round, he whipped, and 2 of those were dropped. What does that speak of the president's commitment on corruption?
Well, of course, I think you are talking about the honorables Chitutu, Mary, and then Nandutu.
Yes, those 2 at least didn't make it back.
Let's not forget that they are still innocent of any charges of corruption. But of course, the law is, if they were public servants, they would have been interdicted. The moment you are on any allegation or any investigations, then you should be interdicted on half pay. But of course, being political agents of the president, I think now it is up to the president to either fire them or suspend them. So this reshuffle, I think, is to the effect that he has dismissed them. But I hope when they are acquitted of of the charges by court, and I think he has the duty to reinstate them, because it's not good also to punish somebody when they are still innocent. But of course, the fight against corruption is still weak. There's no political will in the government, and even in the officers of government themselves, starting from the President of the Republic of Uganda. He does not show any commitment at all to fight corruption. That is why he has even established the State House anti-corruption team, and the effect of which has been to make the IGG weak. And so we continue to see massive levels of corruption on our roads. The traffic police officers are very corrupt. All they want is just a kind of like a bribe. They are not interested in how many passengers are in the car, in the physical condition of the vehicle. Then, of course, when you go to police, you cannot access a service without paying a bribe. The cost of law. I mean, corruption is everywhere. In our hospitals here, you cannot access a medicine, just a basic drug, without a kick, kind of like a bribe or kind of like a backhander. I mean, corruption is an all-time high. Even of course, in Parliament, in our courts of law, of course, I think I've stated it here. So we are actually, so dependent on corruption as a country that when you remove corruption, we have to fall. The NRM government is so much dependent on corruption, bribery. And of course, so we continue to see that the President of the Republic of Uganda has no will at all. And I don't expect him to have the will, nor do I expect his son to have the will to fight corruption, because if you engage in the breaking of the law, even before you are the President of the state, then how about if you become the President of the state and you have all the tools of power, the state machinery? So as a person of Uganda, as a citizen of Uganda, I don't see any hope at all. Of course, as the Spire said, we should all join in and cash in on corruption, of course, which is wrong. My message is that we can be different. We don't have to be corrupt, as Spire said. But there is a lot of things to do as a state. If you are going to transition from a third world country to a first world state, then corruption, the fight against corruption is massive. It must be our number one strategy. Else, there's no future for us. So we're going to be a poor nation, very impoverished, very indebted until the end.
Okay. Henry, looking at the bigger picture, General Muhoozi, Stan has trained in South Africa, trained in Egypt, trained in the US, and is a decorated general, definitely. We know his contribution in the war against LRA and all the words that have been spoken about him, especially by the president, on professionalizing the military. And here we are, is at the epitome of the UPDF. What should we expect of General Muhoozi being CDF this time around? Because in the very past, there were issues to do with corruption, with unprofessionalism, with drunkenness in the military, with a lot of, things that were happening in there. But now, what do you think is the biggest problem that the UPDF has that General Muhoozi must address immediately?
Well, this is not the first time General Muhoozi is at the epitome of the big seat in UPDF. Like Mr. Wesige has said, he was once heading the Elite Special Forces Command, and he did that job very well. We didn't see any issue with it. He at some point headed the land division.
The land forces,
yes.
Yes.
The land forces at the General Military Headquarters in Bombo. So it is the civilians that have issues with General Muhoozi being the CDF. But for the army, for the little people I've interacted with, they are very happy and they're welcoming this. Why? Personally, I've seen changes that General Muhoozi created in the army. If you visit Bombo Military Barracks, the little time he spent there as the commander land forces, he changed something to do with the housing of the army. He gazetted the barracks. Whoever wanted would just enter the barracks anyhow. But the man gazetted it and the barracks looked good. He built some flats. Back to your question, Mr. Wanyaji, what should he do to change the livelihood and the stature of the army? First of all, our military men and women are having an issue with housing and accommodation. If you visit very many barracks, you will be shocked to see where soldiers sleep. I think you should start with that. What do you mean they're soldiers? Soldiers shouldn't have.
Say what you just said on the microphone. It should go on record that this man Peter Mpaka has said since they are soldiers, they should sleep in the bush.
National Unity Platform shall not cater for the accommodation of the soldiers.
Let me substantiate, because I don't want you to put words in the NUP. The other day, when Charles Engola, the minister, was assassinated by his bodyguard, we all cried out for social welfare of the soldiers. And President Museveni came and said, why? These are soldiers. They are trained to sleep in the bush. They are trained to sleep in the open. They are trained to do the life, to live a life that is inconvenienced, to be ready for anything that calls on them to serve the country.
For your information. But Mr. Banyaji, still on my point, the accommodation is still lacking. Soldiers are suffering and it's not good. Secondly, there are soldiers who retire. These days, UPDF retires very many soldiers. But their retirement benefits are always affected, and there is a laxity in getting them. I know very many big people who are in big positions, colonels, big officers in the UPDF who are still suffering getting their retirement benefits, which is not good, because these people served our country and they deserve to get their benefits as early as possible, and this should be done, I believe, effectively, and I know General Muhoozi will do this. Another point. Where does this leave the lower ranks officers? There was a wave of increasing the salaries of big senior officers in the army, and most people in this studio are aware that starting from the rank of captain and above, their salaries were increased. I think General Muhoozi as the CDF should advocate for the lower ranks so that our officers are satisfied with their better pay, and we don't have any issue as far as security and defense of our country is concerned. And I believe General Muhoozi can do better at that, because he can easily approach the commander-in-chief, who is the president of the Republic of Uganda, and handle these matters very well. Then the other point is the medical facilities of soldiers. First of all, I want to applaud government because if you visit most of these general military hospitals, they are some of the best, and usually they always refer patients to those hospitals. But I pray that the CDF puts in fire and helps the government to increase in the production of doctors and health workers in those hospitals, and also make sure that the medicine is in that. Make sure that the medicine in those hospitals is delivered at the right time, and because Peter Parker, you're trying to say that my submission is not serious, but I can assure you that UPDF does its own procurement, if Bwenje agrees with me. So when it comes to those medicines and the whatever, the recruitments of doctors, UPDF recruits doctors. Yeah, so if the CDF emphasizes this and make sure that soldiers' lives are, by the way, you may take it as a joke, but these guys die. They come to their hospitals, there are no doctors, there are no specialists, but if the CDF increases the recruitment of the right people and they make sure they are paid very well and the medicine is in their facilities, these soldiers will have better lives and we shall have a good defense and security as a country, which I think should not be taken for granted.
I think we should not castigate.
And also,
the interest of every Ugandan to have a better military. And if Muhoozi Kainerugaba can give us this, we are good to go as a nation. I think that's in the interest of everyone.
Add on what he said.
Yes.
See, there are many soldiers who return from Somalia, from Iraq, those who go there, from the Congo, and they have post-traumatic stress disorder. They are mentally impaired, they are mentally disturbed, and the military is not taking care of them. And in the end, they become a liability to the state. They are they are now forced to get addicted to drugs. You find them on the streets. They are in hospitals. They are at home.
Do you think General Muhoozi is the right person to deal with some of these issues?
Yes, I'm coming there. And also, let's not forget that the HIV prevalence rate in the UPDF is so high. So I to these human rights instruments, and I know that there is human rights education in the UPDF. It is there. So he has a duty to walk the talk.
Okay, thank you.
And to bring every perpetrator of torture and any human rights violation to accountability.
Okay.
And I am giving a piece of information that our people should note that General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is appointed the CDF at a point when President Museveni, as the commander-in-chief, on 17th of February, launched an establishment, an UPDF establishment 2021, where there is delegated command, where the CDF, the commander-in-chief, is allowed to command, control, and administer any activity of the force. So at this point, the CDF can do majority of the activities without even necessarily first consulting from the commander-in-chief. So we expect a lot of changes, and we expect a lot of good things.
But maybe the question I can put for Musa Tukwatanese is that if at all members of the Patriotic League of Uganda are being appointed into cabinet, even when those particular members have affiliation to the NRM, isn't it now a sour grape?
No.
On especially the office of the national chairperson, because now for us we believe President Museveni should be the next president
as a CDF
in 2026.
As a CDF.
No, Bwenje. Okay, let's allow Musa. What does it mean for especially the NRM members that are pushing for Museveni to return as president in 2026, but before they know it, is legitimizing the efforts of the PLU?
What we must note is that Uganda's presidency lies in the hands of Ugandans. Because Uganda has the constitution, we have the 4 pillars. NRM established the patriotism, pan-Africanism, democracy and socio-economic transformation. And basing on pillar number 3 of democracy, even yesterday you saw UPC winning an election, a by-election in Idokoro. That is a clear indicator that Ugandans have the mandate to choose the leader of their choice. And so on that very note,
can you answer the question?
On that very note, Ugandans will in 2026 look for the leader of their choice.
So will they look for a leader with having Muhoozi and Museveni on the ballot?
Absolutely.
Yes. That's not
if Muhoozi and Museveni appears on the ballot, it is not illegal. Now the choice remains in the hands of Ugandans to choose who to lead them by constitution.
Yes, Peter.
I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed.
Submission. I want him to separate Muhoozi as a CDF and Muhoozi as the chairman of PRU.
Thank you so much.
And Muhoozi as the son of the president.
And Muhoozi as a politician.
What we expect, he's not a politician.
For him, he wants to treat him as a politician.
Yes. So what we expect of MK as a CDF is what the law expects.
You see, there is God,
not our internal emotions.
Sometimes I get so disappointed with the extreme legalese of Wenje and my friend Henry here. Tokubasa kutera kapo mukuli ukaje expecting kuzina the pussycat cannot hear the sound of the fruit omukuli. Now for us to expect, first of all, for him to tell me to separate Muhoozi the politician, Muhoozi the son of Museveni, Muhoozi the chairman of PLU, is like asking me, and Muhoozi is like asking me to separate Jesus the God, then God the Jesus, then God the Holy Spirit. Yet the Bible tells you they are all one, they are all the same.
Yes,
so they are.
The Bible.
It is the
but
thing. What I'm saying, for me,
President Son and the CDF are one and the same person.
For me, this is the most important thing that our listener should know. That Muhoozi is not the right person to be the CDF of Uganda.
Why?
Because in all his upbringing and all his training and all his promotions, he has been pampered. There is nothing like merit in his promotions.
If you go in Sandhurst, you go to that other military training in the US, in Kansas. If you go to South Africa, you go to Egypt, you've trained with Israel, and you cannot be a CDF of a military.
Ugandans have to desist.
You see, your problem is you're judging Muhoozi Kainerugaba because he's the son of seven couples.
That's what I'm most interested in. Okay, for the purpose of this show and for the purpose of our listeners, I am interested in Muhoozi, the son of the president, who is interested in being a political head, and yet he is simply pampered into the whole positions has been.
It's 10:30 a.m. Your local time check.
It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
We are literally on the final lap of the show. 32 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music. Great friends. I have a big seater here in Dr. Cliff Manyeromujun Kada, who is saying you're listening in from Uganda, and Muhoozi, Kenneth Gava's mobilization was just to hoodwink Ugandans, whereby he was joined by selfish leaders or people who surrounded themselves around him. So basing on what I saw in Masaka, where he was shutting up Honorable Kabanda, come 2026, don't expect the grandson of Kaguta on the ballot. Because most of his strong allies like Balama and Aber are now ministers and MK CDF. The story will now change. They will be talking NRM. You continue to say that General MK will retire from the army in 2024 and start active politics and seek to be on presidential ballot in 2026. Now, 2024 is appointed the highest office in the military. Thank you, Cliff, for being a part of the show.
Gentleman.
Yes.
I think he's caught up between the fact that a minister appointed by the president of the Republic of Uganda must automatically support the NRM, and that is wrong, because Mao is a minister of justice and constitutional affairs, but doesn't support the NRM. So
But which kind of arguments are these?
And Aber for Bargare and Aber to be appointed as ministers, it doesn't mean that they will.
Am I the one that is not understanding what he is saying?
You see, being appointed as ministers does not make their positions in PLU.
So in whose interest would you be serving?
PLU. Because Mao, you see, Mao.
Simple question. Haven't we seen when we went to Soroti? When we went to Soroti, the function was organized by Honorable Minister Peter Geru and the Speaker of Parliament. When we went to Masaka, the function was organized by Honorable Minister Kasoro. When we went to Kabare, now I am trying to give you a light. So being a minister does not stop someone from participating in PRU activities. Actually, it gives us a hand and a chance, and we are seeing 2026 very closer and near to us than before.
It gives them.
Let's bring credit.
It gives the PRU access to state resources.
And is that for the good or for the bad?
No, it is for the good of PRU.
But how about the taxpayer?
Of course, for the bad of PRU, of the Ghana taxpayer. But for PRU, it is not a minus. It is an addition.
Thank you, Bwenje.
Yeah, you are very objective today.
Yes.
I think Bwenje has given up on Naru and PRU.
Let's allow.
This is what I want to say. This is what I want to say. That everything about Muhoozi is actually criminal. Because for us in NUP, we have people who are kidnapped, people who are missing, people who were arrested because they were putting on red bellets, which are marked with our badge as NUP. We have Lillian Aber, who put on
the
a
army
designated uniform of the army. And she is, to me or to all of us Ugandans, she should be in prison. Because our supporters are in prison, or she should be aligned before the court martial. But she's being appointed a minister in Museveni's government. So what foolery do Ugandans want beyond that? So that's why I tell you that Muhoozi is pampered. And the arguments of Council Henry and Council Wenje lack water. Because for me, to say that soldiers are happy about him, soldiers are okay, when it is just, he is just facilitated to do that. Me, I would want us to, you see, it's like binding Impaka Peter. Legs, arms, mouth, and everything, and you blindfold him. And then you start kicking him. You beat him. And after that, you say, I've even knocked you down. And then they declare you the champion. And we say that was a game that should go in the records. You are a genius. You've hit him in 2 minutes. For me, I think it is wrong for our society to discuss like this. I think we should first look at the merits. For example, people like General Kahindo Tafire, people like General Tinyefuza, people like Beno Niberaro, may his soul rest in peace, who fought and slept in the bush and fought against the injustices that Ugandans were facing at that time, especially the issue of missing persons. Who were missing, the bench workers who were missing at that time, the people, the doctors of Mulago, the lecturers in Makerere who were missing, and President Museveni grouped them together and said, let us fight against it. When they see people missing, yet they fought for that, and they have not gotten the chance to be decollated and promoted the way Muhoozi has been promoted, do we think that it is fair? Should we come and discuss the legalese? Should we come and discuss whether it is right or wrong? So for me, I want to
we expect of the CDF.
We expect nothing because he's the masterminder.
No.
He is the masterminder. He is the masterminder. Wait,
taxpayers, we must hold him accountable.
There
are things we expect
you see,
from him.
You see, let me tell you this. He is going to do whatever he's going to do because he's simply pampered by the system.
No.
Even if it was any other CDF, they would have done. Let's ask ourselves this question. Let us ask ourselves this question. Why did President Museveni, as of what the thing, the UPDF establishment, something which Musa has not quoted, why did he allow it? Why did he sign it and transfer all powers to the CDF? Do you know that the people of Kasese jubilated and shouted and made noise? Our son has become something very important. They didn't know that 2 weeks later he was going to be reshuffled and taken into a mediocre, a small fish. He was going to be transferred to a mediocre, and then the son of President Museveni was going to be brought in that office. So for me, I want to tell you that Ugandans who are there, you need to listen carefully to what Mpaka Peter is saying. Leave the legalism of Wage and Henry aside.
What
you need to listen that if Muhoozi is going to do anything, first of all, that is a public office. He should do it. But I am saying that he is pampered. He is pampered. And the pampering he is getting was not given to Mbasu, was not given to Katumba Wambara, was not given to other former CDFs.
What do you want the CDF to do?
Yes. As a person in the opposition,
what I want the CDF to do, what I want him to do,
yes.
I want him to first release our missing people.
Okay.
Let him not be the masterminder of kidnaps. Let him not be the masterminder of abductions. Let him not be the masterminder of Bob Wine being shot at when we are campaigning.
Exactly.
Let him stop broking. Let him stop this team of his which goes and hijacks a saloon and calls it a group office. Let him stop printing T-shirts of Muhoozi, my next president, when he knows he's not a politician, he is a leader of a civic organization. Let him go out and campaign for proper use of condoms, fight against malaria, fight against TB, because he is a leader of a civic organization. Let him
as the CDF,
aside.
As the CDF.
When we come back, I'll be able to get to hear from you after a commercial break. Good morning.
politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Crooze FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
15 minutes to 11 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Crooze FM. Good music, great friends. It's about time we get to hear from you. Call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let me get to Facebook. I see your kind of feedback and appreciate you very much for being a part of the show each time. We are here because of people like you who are always part of the conversation. And let it not stop here. Keep it going even after the show is out. Now, I see Chris Shaggy. You're listening in from Nyakayojo. And I want to appreciate you. Bwenje Hilary Amanya. All PLU supporters, they target money from MK. I thank you. Paul Tumusime, you're saying, I think we should appreciate NUP. For they have reached where they did expect. But PLU, well, I read that message. And Nwaha, Stewart, greed, nepotism turning Uganda into family property, monarch, tribalism, life and family presidency. Aloysius Vade, you're saying leave alone those comedians, PLU. Look at Frank Gashumba, look at Tamale Mirundi. Obusheshe Timothy, thank you, and there's so many of you that have been a part of the show. Let me read Rocky Aaron Kwok, who is saying everything done in Masaka is specifically done to suppress NUP's political powers. In fact, the whole bunch of NUP leadership is yet to be put down by Museveni's seniority in masterminding his opponents. And I tell you, NUP won't last half the time FDC did. MK appointment to CDF has nothing to shock anyone in Uganda. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
On the same. See, we are talking about what we expect of the CDF. We are talking about our expectations of MK as a CDF. Do we have order in the house? Yeah. So I also want to inform. Yes, thank you for the intervention. I also want to inform our viewers and listeners and of course the members of the panel here that it is not mandatory that that Uganda must have a CDF. There's no law that says that the commander-in-chief must appoint a CDF. Actually, the commander-in-chief can serve as both the commander-in-chief and the CDF, because Section 8, subsection 2 of the UPDF Act of 2005 provides that the commander-in-chief may appoint a CDF. Now, may means directory. I mean, it says that is optional. It's not mandatory. So by appointing a CDF, I think the president is trying to kind of to unburden himself of the load of a commander-in-chief. But of course, since the CDF has already been appointed, we have our own aspirations of what he should do, and not try to see him as the son of the president. And I also want, I also want to inform him to be very careful not to mix his roles as a CDF and his roles as the chairperson of the PLU and as the son of the president, because ultimately he's accountable to the people of Uganda, because the constitution says that the UPDF shall be subservient to civilian authority. So I want to remind him that no matter how high he goes, he's still subject to the will of the people. Whatever he does must be in the interest and the greater good of the people of Uganda.
Thank you. Musa tukwatanise on the quality of appointments that President Museveni makes. Baram Bargahara is a minister. Do you think he's got what it takes?
Thank you so much. Baram Bargahara Comrade was appointed Minister of Gender under the decade of youth and
Children Affairs.
And when you look at least I've interacted with him, I've moved with him in all MK events, and I know this Baram Bargahara is a patriot. He loves his country because he has been rallying the young people.
Does he fulfill the constitutional requirements of being appointed a minister of government?
No, the fulfillment of the constitutional requirements. Number one, he has a master's degree.
The minimum is HSC,
and for him, he has a master's degree. Yeah. So when we go to the quality, this is a guy who has been mobilizing young people across the country. And you have already seen him. He has a big influence and a big following. Does he have children? And number two, this is a man who has always made sure that at least the Patriotic League of Uganda, this is the non-partisan, non-sectarian, and non-denominational society, brings together the Ugandans, spreads the ideology of the continuity of the revolutionary agenda, putting Uganda first, knowing that Uganda is bigger than all of us. And I think given an opportunity now that he has a ministry and he has a budget to operate in, he's going to mobilize young people and bring them to the focus, because what we need is to see all young people of Uganda appreciate the existence of the NRM and appreciate the existence of the government, and work as a minister, work to ensure that at least all Ugandans, irrespective of the political party, are served. And I want to say that the Baram Bargahara I know, at least he's non-segregative. I've already seen him with UPC people, with DP people, with the NUP people, and as a person who has been in the music industry, we also have that chance that as a promoter, he's going to bring for us these youth and children who have been there in ghettos, and they are there desperate. At least they will be served. And I can assure Ugandans that the appointments made by Mzee Museveni are very, very, very important, and we welcome them and we shall embrace them. And as a Patriotic League of Uganda, we are very happy to see that Mzee Museveni is considering the Patriotic League of Uganda by giving us appointments and bringing the 2026 vision very closer to us. I can assure us that 2026 the mission is arrived. Thank you so much.
Your parting shot.
For me, the only credible appointment, the only credible new face that the president has brought on board is the National Female Youth MP,
Fiona
Nyamtoro. I think the president tried to be a bit credible. I can give him credit on that. But for him to appoint Bargahara...
But what is so special about this young lady?
By the time somebody becomes a national youth MP...
She's not a geologist that she's taking expertise.
If you have a problem with her... For me, let me give reasons why. Let me move on because time is gone. You see,
but your parting shot...
My parting shot is... why was Peter Erweru removed as deputy CDF and turned into a special presidential advisor, because this is the Musa Erweru that he went and hit so badly the people.
Let me get this
thinking that he is part of the this Peter Erweru is the person who went and hit the people of Kasese, thinking that he's part and parcel of this Hima dynasty. So I want to warn those people who think they are part of Museveni's system, the people like
I did know that Benji would like spoil you to that extent.
People like Buga, who are there stealing government money, thinking they are part of Museveni's dynasty. I can assure you that this thing is about him, because Peter Erweru has been one of the best soldiers we have in this country. So for him to just be demoted and he's made a special presidential advisor, I think it is something that needs to be investigated by the Kakula Nkonya.
I mean, it is too big.
So I want also to add on this.
In a second,
the members of PLU, they are not they are not substantive enough to be made ministers at
second.
such a time.
Thank you so much. I want to guide my brother that General Muhoozi Kainerugaba was a land force commander, and when he was removed from the land force command, he remained as a senior presidential advisor on special operations. Likewise,
Henry.
It's my time, Peter. First of all, I would like to warn Ugandans to stay away from the nature of the single-sided story. That tendency of the Peters to think that people who went to the bush are the only people qualified to fulfill certain offices is wrong. That is the same mentality that Ugandans have, that if you don't go to a certain university, you're not qualified as a professional in whatever category you come out from. If you don't go to a certain traditional school, you've not gone to high school. Change that mentality, Ugandans. Things have moved on. Uganda is developed. There are many universities. There are many schools. People have studied. So if someone qualifies to be a CDF, they deserve that appointment, regardless of their affiliation to the head of state or whatever. Lastly, Mr. Banyaji, on the appointments, the president did the right thing. He's the appointing authority. Whether we test the credibility and the quality of the ministers, that shall be set to the public to see. But for now, let's appreciate that the president did the right thing, and he is mandated by Article 113 and 14 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda to appoint ministers, and what he did is right.
Thank you, Henry Nwamanya.
Yes, as I wind up, I want
in a second, our time is fast
thank
spent.
the people of Dokoro for shunning the politics of biology and opting for the politics of ideology.
Thank you so much. My punchline this week, we only hope that those that were appointed into different ministries, please go and serve our country. Please go and serve our country, because we need to leave a country for our children that is better than we had. Be a part of the next programming. We have news at the top of the hour. Thank you, Deus Didit Bwenje. Thank you, Henry Nwamanya. Thank you, Peter Mpaka. Thank you, Musa Tukwatanse. My name is Wesley Banyaji. Let's meet next week on The Big Said. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its